I say what ho, chaps and chappets, Game Chap and Bertie here.
Yes.
Yes, indeed, fellows, and I dare say we are now taking you through the process of a system transfer, as you can see, between the new Nintendo 3DSL and your existing Nintendo 3DS or Nintendo 3DS XL.
New Nintendo 3DS XL, actually.
That's right, old boy.
Yes.
Of course, this applies, as you can see, to this rather shiny new console, which, as some of you may know, perhaps requires the use of a screwdriver, but you don't necessarily have to do that.
Right, so on the left hand we have the new 3DS XL, which we're about to open.
That's right.
And on the right hand we've got the old 3DS.
That's right. As you can see, this is an original
XL.
model 3DS, fellows. I'm going to put that to one side now, so we can open up the new one. I say,
Right, okay.
thus, there we go. As you can see, now, of course, factory settings on the 3DS XL may not necessarily be what you want, because you're going to have to potentially install a system update in order to get the transfer to work properly.
Aha, right.
Yes. So as you can see, I'm just slipping open the box here, like so. It's quite a tight fit in here, you know. Come on, Game Chap, get that thing open, I say.
Oh, yes.
This is difficult, but you must be careful. You can't graunch the box, old chap.
No, you have to be careful with the box, no.
Graunch
because
the
it's
technical
all very
zone.
important when you're opening these boxes.
That's
You
right.
See, we're not just showing them how to do the system transfer, we're showing them how to open the box so they don't break it all up.
As you can see,
And they throw it on the side and the dog goes and eats it.
That, of course.
Don't care anyway, do
That's
you?
right, exactly. Now, this is an unusual setup inside here, but of course there's a finger hole there to enable us to get in thus.
Right,
There we
okay.
go. And here's the beaut itself, fellows. Can you see all this?
I can see it, yes.
Are you getting this, cameraman?
Yes, I think we are.
Good show, good
Yes.
show. There we are. It has the various manuals, the AR
Manuals.
cards. I'll just put those to Captain Falcon there. And let's see, I understand there's actually a tab here and one more there.
Yes, there's one there. Could you wake me up when you open this, please?
Yes, but
I'm just
by
thinking-
all means, old chap.
Right, yes.
If I can just get the very thick tab over
Well,
there.
while you're opening it, I'll say all out there. Now, no doubt, a lot of you will be getting the new 3DS XL, or maybe you won't, I don't know.
There we
but if
go.
you do, then you're going to want to know how to do this, which, if you've got an old one, is to take all the information from your old one over to the new one.
Indeed, as
Because
you
you
can
can't
see.
just do it without the special means, can you?
That's right, here she is. As you can see, that's the new Nintendo 3DS XL. Fellows, what a glorious sight she is, lady.
That's
Now, of course,
beauty.
look at that beauty. Such a
Look
shiny.
at that shine, look at that. Oh,
She's
look.
shiny, I have to say. Now, open her up, as you can see, fellows.
Let's get some zoom.
We'll get some zoom there. Can you
Get some
see the
zoom.
cameraman?
Zoom.
There we are.
Zoom.
She's lovely,
More
isn't she?
zoom, more zoom, more zoom.
Thank you, Bertie. Very well, very well.
Oh,
The
that's it.
grand unveiling, fellows. Now, of course, the new power button is located down here, fellows. As you can see, we've turned her on. Now, indeed, the first thing you may need to do is get your internet connection set up and get an update going on your new device.
Ah, right. So yes, so we have to first of all connect to the internet with the 3DS and get the new system or the latest system update. Is that correct?
That's right, boy. You will
Right.
need the new system update in order to actually get the thing working. So,
Right.
This
So
is
we
the first
need-
step, the 3D calibration step. I'm going to do this in real life now, fellows, of
Right.
course.
So when you say working, then you mean in order to be able to transfer your old 3DS information onto this 3DS, you firstly need to get the latest update.
That's quite right,
Right.
Roger. You won't be able to make the transfer without the latest update installed on both systems, so be
Okay.
careful of that.
Right,
So,
okay.
as you can see, just going through the basic setup process here, it'll ask you to calibrate 3D and all that sort of thing. This is all part of the transfer when you get a brand new 3DS, of course. And also, it has a rather interesting new camera there, which, as you can see, can detect your face. How clever, El chap.
Can really? That's clever.
Super stable 3D. That's lovely, I say.
Right.
There we are. So I'm going to bring this back round to the main screen, as you can see. Have you got the date there, old chap? Is it by any chance the 13th of February?
Oh, I don't know. I think so. Something like that.
Today it is, but it probably isn't when they're watching it, old boy, but never mind.
Never mind.
Let's have a look at the current times about, I don't know, it's something past 6, I think.
Is it really?
I can't recall,
Goodness
old
me,
chap.
it's time for my dinner. I'm going now.
Is it dinner time, truly?
Oh, never mind.
There we
Yes.
are. As you can see, 1820, that'll do.
Right.
So, our username in this case is, of course, GameChap. Now, this step is very important, fellows. You must have exactly the same region on both systems. Now, if you set a different region, of course, it won't work. So,
Right.
do be careful.
Right,
In this
okay, so
case-
there's the same region on both systems and the update on both systems in order to make this happen.
That's right. In this case, United Kingdom, England. I don't know if you can see that top screen there, but now
Yes.
we'll set up the internet connection settings. We have various user agreements to skip through, yes, all that sort of thing. We
All the
accept
rubbish that
those.
no one reads and never follows anyway.
All the yada yada. Who reads
Yes.
that anyway, old chap?
Well, you know.
We shall set up the internet connection settings now, actually, so you'll need to do that on your system as well. Right, fellows, we are back in action, as you can see
Right,
there.
we've done that.
Just
There's no way we were going to tell them our password was Buckingham Palace 123. was there?
Bertie, don't say that, old chap. Anyway, now this is of course system transfer, as you can see. System transfer allows you to transfer software save data, network ID and more from
Okay.
another system to this one. And of course many of you out there will want to do that right now. So therefore, if you don't transfer first, as it's saying on the bottom screen, you won't be able to use your new save data after the transfer. So be careful of that.
So this is what it's all about. Just to pick up again here, you've got an old 3DS, your old one. You've now got a new one here, and you want to get all your information over over to the new one, so we're showing you how to do it.
That's right. Let's just move the boxes, shall we, so we have a more stable picture of what's going on in this important part of the process.
Okay.
So now, as you can see, I'll just get neatly aligned there. We have to go through the transfer process, which is actually being advertised to us here as part of the system setup. In this case, we go to the transfer option, as you can see there, and this is, of course, again, a very important part because, of course, otherwise you'd have to go and do it elsewhere.
Yes.
Now, it is at this stage connecting to the internet to determine whether or not the transfer can be performed. That's a standard process with these things. Every time you want to transfer, you'll have to dial up to their servers first.
Right, okay, so we wait, and say it doesn't connect to the internet, then what?
We'll have to panic and cut the tape, old chap. I hope not.
Oh.
It takes a little while, Fiddles, as you can see, to go through this process, and in the meantime, on the other 3DS, we should really be getting that ready as well. So I'm going to do that just while we're waiting here.
We should do.
Reach down like so.
And meanwhile, while it's not connecting to the internet, I'll start initiating the panic status.
You'll do that, little boy.
Right.
Now, as you can see, an error has occurred. You must update your system in order to perform a transfer here, so we need to go through that before we can perform the transfer.
I see, right.
Therefore, of course, although they initially offered us to do that, we're actually going to have to run around and go to the system settings now in order to update the system and then go ahead with the said transfer. So be aware of that as you're updating. This is, of course, the full walkthrough process as you'll see it as well.
Okay, right. Yes, okay.
So we're now waiting for that. I'm just on the other system here, meanwhile, as you can probably hear. Click, click, going to the transfer option. Meanwhile, you can skip past these boxes quite safely, next here, and close them down, as you can see there.
Right, yes.
It'll nag you with various screens.
Right.
Then scroll over, as you can see here, to system settings. That's where you'll need to go next to the picture of the wrench.
The picture of the wrench. Right, okay. What are you doing on the other one? In the meantime, why don't you show them?
I'm going to show them, actually, yes. As you can see, I've gone to the system settings on the other system here. That's the bottom screen there. I'm going to touch System Transfer on page 3 of Other Settings. Okay?
Page 3? Oh,
yes,
right,
indeed.
okay.
And of course, you'll have to turn on wireless communication to do that. So there we are, Fiddles. Meanwhile, on this system, we're going to go to Other Settings down here and scroll over to page 5, I understand. Okay?
Page 5, right.
And it's System Update, as you can see, and you'll have to go through that process and press OK. Otherwise, this thing won't go ahead, and there's more agreements to accept there, you'll know.
More things.
You can plug in the AC adapter, although it shouldn't be necessary this time as we have some battery power. But if your red light is on or blinking, for goodness sake, plug in that AC adapter. You could lose everything, you'll know.
You'll lose everything otherwise. So how long does it take to put the system update on then?
We're about to find out, I dare say, old chap. Meanwhile, on the other machine, I'll just show you that whilst we're working here. Yes, we are. Yes. We'll go to the system transfer option here, Fiddles. A slightly shaky screen there. Oh, I have to turn the wireless on, Michael. There we are. Turn the wireless on, it'll go ahead with the process. We are, of course, now waiting for that whilst the other one updates. As you can see, this one in the meantime is updating, and now it's saying on this screen, connecting to the internet once more to do that check and see if the transfer can be performed.
Okay, right, so we're in that waiting stage at the moment.
I have to say, old boy, I'm getting quite nervous now. This is my transfer of my 3DS. This is live on camera.
Well, most certainly. So you've got all the things on your old 3DS XL there, and it's everything, absolutely everything at all, and of course you now want to get it on your new one.
Exactly.
Well, Nintendo will allow you to do it, but you've got to do it this way.
That's right. As you can see on this screen, Videos, I want you to have transfer from a Nintendo 3DS system. Right. It doesn't make sense, but that's what you have to do. Press I accept there, thus, or I agree, as you can see there, and we want to send from this system. We don't want to receive, we want to send, of course, because this is our old system, the old 3DS XL. Okay, so as you can see, you'll have to sign in as part of this process to go ahead with the standard phase there, and again you'll want to press send from your old system because you're receiving on your new system.
Most certainly, and presumably the old system needs to know the new system, or some chap just walking past your house will suddenly say, oh my word, look, I've got a load of new games, spiffing stuff.
I suppose so, old chap.
Right.
As you can see, I am now just going to plug in the AC adapter here and type in my password upon the other machine, of course, to sign myself in. And you know, I can't remember my password, old chap. It was
Gerbil.
It's got some,
Gerbil 3. Don't
it's
forget
always to do with Gerbils. These passwords, aren't they?
Right.
Let's have a look, see if I got that right.
Right.
Let's have a look. I'm just going to show the screen now. Did I get it right or not? That's the question. And I got it. Well, there's a spinning wheel there, so I said,
right, okay, so
like it's
connecting to the internet.
So, Videos, after having entered in your password, as you can see, it'll then connect to the internet, check your details, and authorise the transfer.
Now, in the meantime, the other one, I think, is updating, is it not?
It's still updating, as you can see, at about 40% there. Okay. So, now we're going to have to... we have a new screen here now. As you can see, we're in local communication up on the top screen. I don't know if you can see that there or not.
Okay,
On the bottom screen, we can see, on the target system, select Receive from a Nintendo 3DS system, and that is the next step of this process.
Right, understood.
We'll be making a cup of tea now, Fields, and we'll get back to you once this has finished updating.
Yes, once this is finished updating, we'll be back.
Yes, and in the meantime, it's me, Mario.
Oh, yes, we could do a little thing. Hey, it's me, Mario, and we are currently waiting for the other one on there to update the system. Because, I don't know, maybe you're waking a long time and you get a little bit fed up and maybe say, this is a game which I've been putting. What are you even doing? I'm going to make a cup of tea, and they come back later when they start being silly.
Right, Fails, we are back, as you can see.
Yes,
It's
we're
now
back.
asking us to restart the system because the system update is complete. So off we go, press OK there, and the system will go into restart mode.
Oh, good. Right. Okay. Into restart.
And
Right,
of course,
yes.
wait a little while for that to go through, Fails. We are now, of course, on the other system. Meanwhile, we have the target system select receive from Nintendo.
Right, let's have a look at that
3DS.
again then.
As you may have known there, as we said earlier, that is now saying in the red there to receive from a Nintendo 3DS system.
Okay, and the top screen?
That's the option we'll have to say, and on the top screen, as you can see, in the local communication mode there, with our source system pointing over to the right.
So that's the old 3DS you're looking at there. Now here's the new one
Here's
with
the
the
one.
update just done.
That's just updated, as you can see, and we can safely now go past these menus here. Once more, scroll over to the system settings option here, Fails. That's where you have to go.
Right.
The picture of the wrench there, and we'll need to go again to the system transfer option, which we can now do because we've updated the system to the latest data.
Fine, okay, yes, understood.
Again, in other settings, Fails, I think it's on page 4 if memory serves. Let's have a look. System transfer on page 4, as you can see there.
Okay.
And we'll need to select in here the receive option once it goes in, as it said elsewhere. But firstly, it'll have to dial up to Nintendo's servers and make sure it's all okay.
Okay, so it's dialing up at the moment.
Now, please note at this point, Fails, there is
Yes.
no need at all to make a Nintendo Network ID on your new system. If you thought of doing that, just forget it, because your new Nintendo Network ID would be erased by your existing one after you'd made the transfer.
Oh, I see.
So you just have to transfer your old Nintendo Direct ID to the new system. Just
Okay,
like that. So
understood.
Of course, we can press here, I'm just getting the other system now, we can press transfer from a Nintendo 3DS system, thus
Yes.
agree to their contracts and terms and whatnot,
Yes.
and receive from a Nintendo 3DS system. There we are.
Right.
That'll transfer the old to the new. So on the source system, as you can see, I now have a box that's popped up there, a button.
That's
It
the old one there.
says Game Chap. So that'll be your system there, Fidel. So press that one to start the transfer process going.
Okay, so that's the old one there you've just pressed Game Chap on. Right, okay.
That's right. Meanwhile, on the new system, it says transfer from Game Chap's 3DS system. Press yes, Fidel.
Right, press yes to that. Transfer from Game Chap's new 3DS.
We can't see anymore, right? Press
then we go yes.
Yes, there we are. As you can see, that will of course initiate the transfer on the other system. So we're transferring to and from systems here. If you continue with this transfer, be aware of these important steps, Fidel. I'm just going to move that to the one side because we'll be working with the
That's
new
the
one now.
old one, so hang on, that's the old
The
one
new
you've
one is
got
now
there.
going down to the side, and we have the old one, as you can see in front of the camera now, because that's what we'll be working with for the time being. If you continue with the transfer, you will overwrite data on the new system with data from the source system, and this old system here will be formatted, so you'll lose everything on your old 3DS.
Right, hang on, let's just pick that up there for
Very
the Chaps and Chappets listening. So basically what's happened, we now have in front of us the old system, which is being transferred to the new system, which we've just taken off camera.
That's right.
And what it does, it puts all of your information onto your new 3DXL, and at the same time, it completely formats and erases everything on the old one, puts it back to as it was.
That's right, factory default settings, so
Factory
do
default.
be aware of
Right,
that, Fails.
okay.
And also, if there's other various caveats there to be aware of, time-limited software, etc., and so forth, and micro SD cards and whatnot, if you have data on your new system, make sure you back it up first, otherwise it'll be erased.
Right.
And also, you can't undo a transfer, so all things to be aware of there before pressing next, as you can see. The transfer process will replace all data on the target system with that of this system. All data on this system is then wiped and deleted.
Good,
So
right.
I'm quite nervous about this, old boy.
Oh, yes.
This is my 3DS, I say.
Don't worry.
Let's press yes, I'm
Yes.
doing it, so you can too, Fails. Preparing for transfer, and this is goodness me, hours and hours of data and saves and all sorts on here, but I trust Nintendo. They'll do
Well,
a
we'll
good
keep the
job.
camera rolling. If it goes wrong, it just sends it into cyberspace and we never see it again. They can watch us smashing all the 3DSs up with anger, can't they?
No, you'll just hear me sobbing into my handkerchief, old boy. with
Okay, well, I'll do the
soft
smashing, you do
tears.
the crying then.
Yes, as you can see,
Yes.
preparing for the transfer now, fellas. It
Okay.
says that on both screens. Now, of course, it's not actually going to go to the transfer system yet because there's one incy-wincy little problem, which may be why you're here in the first place.
What's that?
That is, of course, the matter of the SD card save data. Now, for some reason, Nintendo thought it would be a good idea on the new system to place a micro SD on it. So there we are. We just have a box that's popped up here. If you have the same software on both systems, the target ones will be deleted. They're warning you here and saying time-limited software will also be deleted, etc.
Okay.
and so forth on the
Righto.
target system. We're going to press next to go ahead with that
Next.
all the same. There is some software and data that will become unusable if you perform the transfer. Ah, indeed. Okay. So therefore, be aware if you have time-limited limited data, some of that may be lost in the process, but it's too late to stop now, old chap.
Yes, it's too late for that.
It's too late for that. This will start the transfer. Press the blue button to initiate the process.
Right, the big blue button. Transfer, and that's it. That's the last you'll ever see of your data.
Bertie,
Not really, only joking, honest.
So let's just swap these over again, as you can
Right,
see.
okay, so that's the old one gone then.
To the target system there, I shall place it upon the box.
And now the new one's in
Is
front.
that aligned in the camera, old chap?
Little bit. That's not about there, yes.
Right,
yes.
so
okay.
data created by this system on the micro SD card will no longer be usable after you've made the transfer, so therefore you'll have to format the SD card on this system by pressing the delete button, as you can see.
Right,
Thus,
okay.
There we are. Now all data on the 3DS, rather micro SD card inside this new system will be deleted,
right.
but that's okay because this is the new one and there's nothing on it.
There anyway.
So press that big red button with safety there, fellows, as you can see. That'll wipe and format the SD card. Thank you very much. There we go.
Okay.
And now, of course, we are saying, were any other cards used with the system? The answer to that is no.
No.
Because it's brand spanking new.
Understood, brand
now
new.
we have to yet again transfer back to the source system. My word,
word.
this is quite the exciting process.
Well, you're showing them how to do this, so they've never known.
Now, as you can see, Vedales,
Right.
we're faced with a rather important question here. Nintendo DSiWare titles in the system memory will be moved to the SD card, so you'll have to do that, as you can see there.
Okay, right, we'll do that.
I hope I have enough space. I really
I'm
do.
sure you have.
That's picked my various titles, as you can see, being transferred over there, and any DS titles you have will also be moved to the SD card, because of course there's Zelda Full Swords Anniversary Edition. You have to get those on the SD card because the memory will be wiped, you'll see.
Okay,
so
right.
again, whilst you're doing this, keep an eye on the top right-hand corner here on your battery level. I've got 3 bars here, but if your battery's running low, for goodness sake, plug it in. If you lose power during this process, it's all over.
Right, important point there then, so make sure, for goodness sake, that you've got your power, this thing powered up during the transfer process, because if you lose power, you're in big trouble.
Big trouble. Right, here's the important part. SD cards cannot be inserted into your new Nintendo 3DS's SD card slot because, of course, it is a micro SD card. So, therefore, you can say the following 3 methods are used to transfer the data. If a file exists on both, then the file on the SD card in the new system is removed.
Right.
Now, you can do a wireless transfer over the network, as you can see there. That requires your access point to be operational all the time.
That's what we're doing.
So be careful of that. And there has to be enough space on both SD cards. So be aware of that. If you have a large card on your old system, but the new one only has 4 gigs, which it does by default, you won't be able to use that method.
Right.
Then, of course, you can use another method if you don't have enough space, and the details are there, as you can see, moving to the micro SD card. However, the third option is to copy via PC, which involves getting your toolkit out.
Right, okay, and that way you'd have to unscrew the little screws at the back. I think there's 2. Take out your micro SD card, plug it into your PC, for which you would need if I'm right, a micro SD converter if you don't have one in your PC already.
Indeed, you'll need a micro SD card adapter and a Phillips size number 0 screwdriver to take these 2 screws out, as you can see. Okay. We're not going to do that method here.
No.
It's a bit, shall we say, gory for the 3DS.
Yes.
So instead we're going to go ahead with the wireless transfer, which may take some time. Again, you may find it easiest to use the wireless transfer method, and we do advise that.
Yes.
However, if you have an issue such as not enough space on the new system, or you have too many titles, or you're not sure that your network's stable, etc. and so forth, it would be best to go to the screwdriver route if you have a number size 0 Phillips crosshead screwdriver.
My goodness me, well said, yes.
Thank you, Worldwide. As you can see, Vidals, press next to initiate the process, and we are going to say, if you use any other SD cards, yes, that's right, if you have multiple SD cards, you have to copy each one onto a different micro SD. My word, how complicated, old chap.
Thank goodness we haven't got any.
So each unique SD card you use with this system, you have to copy to a new micro SD for use in the new system. This is so complicated, old chap.
Understood, right,
Are
yes.
you using an SD card or a micro SD, a mini SD card with your system? So, of course, no, we're going to be using a micro SD card. You can press no there, like so,
Okay,
Vidals.
right.
That's a new one. After the transfer is complete, you can simply remove the micro SD card from the adapter. Oh, no, you see, that was confusing. We have to go back there, Vidals. No, we are using an SD card with this system, aren't we?
I see. Yes,
So
of course
we have to
yes.
press yes, we are, you'll see.
Right, nearly mucked up then, we'll keep that in for you just so you can see.
As you see, that nearly caught us out there, Fidelis. When it says, are you using, it's talking about this one right here, your old one.
Yes.
So if your old system uses an SD card, as it probably does, then make sure you press yes.
Understood.
So we're going to transfer wirelessly with all data in this case, as explained earlier, Fidelis. That's
Right.
the top option, and we're going to press move like so.
Right.
And that song starts to play now by I like to move it, move it.
Yes, I like to... Okay, right.
Exactly.
So it's moving.
Now it's checking the SD card. It will now go through the whole process of moving the data to and fro the two systems. Now, after this process is complete, you will of course go to that phase with the Pikmin. Do you know the one, Edelweiss?
The Pikmin where they're carrying the things across bit by bit, yes, I know.
25, 50, 75 and 100%, and that process is quite self-explanatory. But this particular phase was the gnarly bit with the SD cards and all that involved.
Right, so from here then it'll go into another screen where the Pikmin are transferring the files over.
That's right.
Until they do transfer the files over, and then what happens next?
After that, it should all be done, the process should be completed. That will take a long time, Fadales, depending on how much data you have. But when that's all been said and done, your old system here will be formatted and wiped. It'll restart of its own accord. When you press the restart button, you'll be greeted with the standard 3DS setup screen, and meanwhile on your new system, which I'm just going to fetch down here,
yes,
you will see all the data from your old 3DS copied over if everything worked as to plan.
Excellent.
Well, Fadales, there you are. That's the basic guide of how to get your 3DS transferred from old to new without having to use a screwdriver and getting your workshop and all that sort of thing, old chap.
Splitting, so now we know exactly what to do, and Mario's happy as well.
Mario's happy too, as you can see. Here's Mario, but didn't I show you Captain Falcon as well, old boy?
Captain Falcon.
Captain Falcon. Look at this, I say. There you go.
Captain Falcon. Yes. We've shown them the moves.
We've shown them how to do the moves.
Right, okay.
Show me your moves. Do you see the Fadales? There he is. Goodbye.
Yes. So, thank you very much for coming along with too short. How did little 3DSs are changing over all the data from one to the other? And it's
Bertie, that's quite enough.
No, I want to do it.
Look, just go. Just
I want to do it.
Turn the table there, chap.